now, and I will admit all and mute.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the third Meet Britain's Makers event for East Midlands. We're just going to wait another minute or so to give everybody the opportunity to join us today. But thank you for joining us. Hope you're all having a good time at the Made Futures exhibition. Our panelists here today, we have some great speakers and they're all exhibiting at Made Futures. So bear in mind who they are, what business they're from, so that you can chat on their stand afterwards. So we still have more people joining us. We'll get started in a moment. So my colleague Annetta would have unmuted you all for now, but once we go to the breakout rooms, you can unmute yourself. And once we've asked our questions to the panelists. Please also ensure that you're in speaker view. So in the top right-hand corner, you'll see that you have speaker view or gallery view. Make sure you're on speaker view so you can see who is speaking clearly. So great, it's now 2:31. So good afternoon, everybody. And like I said, welcome to the third Meet Britain's Makers event for the Made Futures Careers Week. From the 22nd until the 26th of March, we will be hosting two events a day. The first a masterclass and the second a panel discussion, all aimed at offering advice to job seekers with the help of real life industry leaders. Like I said, today we have a star-studded lineup of manufacturers from the East Midlands region. We have representatives from companies and organisations such as Gardner Aerospace, Egl Vaughan, Cast Iron Weldings, Bonam and Turner and QTS Ltd. But before we get our panelists today to introduce themselves and then go through those questions and then also go to those breakout rooms at the end of the session, I'd just like to share my screen and show you around the Made Futures exhibition, a video created by our director, Charles Addison. And I strongly encourage you for after this session to head to the Made Futures exhibition and visit these panelists' stands here today, continue that relationship and build rapport with the industry leaders that we have on the panel. So, like I said, I'm just going to share my screen now. So I can show you guys this video on how you can access the Made Futures exhibition. Great, so just going to click watch again. Hopefully you can all see my screen now. I'm just going to put...
Yes, Yasmin is clearly seen.
Thank you, Annetta. So I'm just going to play the video now for you guys to watch. Always feels like forever when something's buffering, but hopefully we'll get there soon. Let's try that again. Sorry guys, I'm just going to refresh my browser here and then hopefully the video will show. Great, let's try this again, shall we? Apologies for that. Here we go.
Hi, I'm Charles Anderson, Managing Director of Made in the Midlands and Made in Yorkshire. And thanks very much for registering and attending the Made Futures Virtual Careers Week. The session you're on at the moment will be one of the breakout events in the regions where you'll get a chance to listen into some of the employers in your area who are taking people on, understand why career in manufacturing engineering is a great one, and the opportunity to sit in breakout rooms and network with them afterwards. There's one event each day like this, so I encourage you to register for the ones that are relevant to your geography, but definitely check out the wider elements of the Made Futures Careers Week, because the actual virtual exhibition hall is the key part of this in terms of being able to contact and speak with the other employers. You'll do so by visiting madefutures.com. and clicking the login button in the bottom hand of the corner, where you put in the email address and password that we've sent you, and which will give you access to the virtual careers hall itself and the lobby area. You click visit the expo, and that opens up the live exhibition hall. So quickly navigating around, the skills hall is going to give you some exhibition standards from the local skills providers in your area through apprenticeships to colleges and universities. The Made Futures book is a downloadable 120-page book as a prospectus of all the firms who are engaged in this event. Feel free to contact and engage with my colleagues on the Made help desk in terms of the live chat, and jobs board takes you back to where we've just come from, the Made Futures jobs board. The careers hall is really the key takeaway part of this exhibition. I encourage you to go and visit the stands after this call, especially the ones who are on your panel, because this is where they will direct you to. So you can search by sector, by accreditation, by what a company buys and sells, and you can scroll through employers accordingly. My advice is to click on as many as you can and interact with them, because all of these businesses are hiring at the moment. So we can load up the exhibition standards as follows. We can interact and understand what the company does and watch the personal greeting of the managing director and understand more about the business. We can download maybe a brochure and some stuff right here about looking for application engineers to join the team. So you actually have job descriptions. And then to engage with the person on the stand, simply click the live chat, and you can say something like, "Hi, Joanna, I am interested in a career with your business." Joanna will then get this through as a live notification and can chat with you real time, or if she's on an additional chat, she'll get a notification of the message. She has your contact information. Crucially, visit as many stands as you can, because each of the exhibitors will get a report of the job seekers who have attended them. And I've seen most of them have been emailing out to people asking for further information and contacting job seekers themselves. So it's an excellent way to progress through. We'll be providing a certificate signed by Lord Whitby of your participation. So I'd encourage you to achieve one of the deliverables on this, which is visiting the different exhibition stands themselves. And also each day there is a special competition where we are hiding a golden banner on one of the exhibition stands in the hall, and it's your job to kind of report to us through social media where the golden banner is on that particular day, and to contact us. As I said, all of these firms are hiring, and the key people for each business are available in the live chat forum. So please make sure you make use of your time this week. When you're going to go through to the fringe events, social events with the panelists, also make sure your video and audio is on, because at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to speak and interact with company owners. And it's a lot harder to do that if they can't see who you are, where you are. So use your week productively, be as visible as you can, and make the most of this opportunity to speak to employers. Thank you very much for supporting, and thank you very much for our panelists for speaking at this exhibition as well.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a better idea as to how you can access the exhibition. And as my colleague Charles said there, it's a really unique opportunity for you guys to network with key figures within manufacturing organisations. So make sure you take notes today, make sure you have answers prepared for the breakout rooms. And if you are struggling to access the virtual exhibition, then my colleague Anessa will pop in to the chat the link to the exhibition. And if you do have any troubles with logging in, then please email events@madeingroup.com and we'll get you sorted. Otherwise, you can create a new login and access it straight away. However, moving on to today's event, I would like to just introduce our panelists today. So if we start with you first, Marie, please can you introduce yourself and your business?
Hi everyone, I'm Marie Palmer, Director at Cast Iron Welding Services, CIWS for short. We're in our 75th year this year, and we're based in Colville in Leicestershire. We also have a franchise facility in Mexico. So we specialise in the remanufacturing and repair of cast iron components using our fusion cast process. So we serve all different market sectors in the UK and worldwide. So that includes marine, power, industrial, heritage, steam and locomotive and classic vehicles. So we remanufacture and repair components for a number of different types of machinery, engines, bridges, railings, gates and statues, anything that's made of cast iron. So our process enables us to repair damaged components or extend the life of components that may be considered scrap. We have Lloyd's approved welders, and we not only have the welding facility, but we also have a fully equipped machine shop and fitting facility. So we're really passionate about what we do here. We offer a responsive and high quality solution. So some may say that you can't weld cast iron successfully. However, we've been doing it for 75 years. We're a third generation business, and we're working hard to secure the fourth generation. So whilst our processes haven't changed that much since our founder developed the process in the 1940s, we've had to adapt and evolve over time to finding new markets and at home and internationally. So we have over 20 years experience in international trade. So that's just a little bit about what we do, and I'd just like to invite you to come and have a look at our exhibition stand. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much, Marie. And James, please introduce yourself and your business. Oh, sorry, James, I think you're on mute there.
I've taken myself off mute. Yeah, more afternoon, everybody. So my name's James Perry. I work for Gardner Aerospace. I'm a site director for 2 facilities, one in Derby, obviously hence the East Midland link, and also a site in County Durham in the northeast. Gardner Aerospace manufactures detailed aerospace components as well as aerostructure components for a range of aircraft and aircraft platforms, including Airbus, Boeing, Pilatus and Gulfstream. We've got 1,500 employees across 10 sites, so 10 sites around the world, so a truly sort of international organisation. Revenues of around 140 million this year. So my role as site director is to lead the operational and financial performance of those 2 operations, or those 2 sites, and I do that through a fairly traditional sort of matrix structure consisting operations, finance, supply chain, HR, HSE, the usual sort of cross-functional team that you would expect. A little bit more maybe about the Derby site. Derby's actually the most diverse, varied site, I would say, within the group. We have a lot of vertically integrated processes under one roof. So we fabricate, we have class 1 welding facilities, mill and turn machine facilities, assembly, surface treatment, heat treatment, paint, as well as an integrated logistics centre that brings components in from other sites around the Gardner group and redistributes around to our customers. So quite an interesting place to work. Like a lot of businesses in 2020, we suffered the results of the pandemic and essentially what was a fairly rapid and collapsing order book. Happily moving into 2021, we're seeing more than green shoots. Actually, we're seeing a return of volume, a return of rate, which is really, really encouraging. And the key indicator to that, of course, is that we are recruiting. So not so many in the first instance, but 6 roles in particular that we're looking for, both from management, junior management and more junior positions. So yeah, please do visit the stand, because there are opportunities to join a business that I think from this point forward will only grow. Thank you.
Thank you for that, James, and good to hear that Gardner's doing well. And Phil, please introduce yourself.
Caught me off guard there by changing the order. Hi, I'm Phil Jepson. I'm a director of Egl Vaughan. Egl Vaughan's a precision engineering business based in Glossop. In turn, it's part of the Allied Global Engineering Group, and I'm also a director and a shareholder in the group. We're building a group of engineering businesses focused around the Midlands, Yorkshire and the Northwest. And we're interested in finding talent of all kinds, people who want to build a career in engineering, in a dynamic, entrepreneurial and growing group of businesses. We're a bit different to people like Gardner. We're the small business, and we're actually building a group of small businesses. So the kind of people we want to talk to and attract are people who enjoy that smaller business, more dynamic entrepreneurial business environment. We're actually an Anglo-German business. We're also acquiring businesses in mainland Europe, particularly Germany, as well as around here. So lots of different types of opportunities, from sales and marketing through to production operations, lots of different types of opportunities. So if you think you might like that smaller, more dynamic environment, it'd be great to talk to you. So come and visit our stand in the Made Futures exhibition, or alternatively, you can always message me on LinkedIn. It'd be great to talk to you.
Thank you for that, Phil. And next, Craig, please can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, sorry, I think I'm muted there. Hello, everybody. I'm Craig Delara, Managing Director of QTS. QTS is a Nottinghamshire-based manufacturer of wire mesh, storage, safety and security loop solutions into the warehouse and logistics industries, delivered via a long-standing partnership with our trade customers. We have a large number of manual and automated machinery, inclusive of an internal powder-coated facility, so really can offer a start-to-finish service to all of our customers. Formed in 2003, we initially grew our customer base as an importer from our very own owner-operated facility in the Far East. But thankfully, we took the big decision, decided to reshore our entire operation back in 2014. So we have a great business culture, and we now employ around 45 full-time employees in the UK, and successfully manufacture our wire mesh solutions that we have exported globally for a long time now. But we do intend to open up more inland manufacturing hubs in key strategic locations around the world, but we will be adapting the QTS way throughout. So with the ongoing growth within the business and some exciting opportunities and our own internal transformation plans, I encourage you to come and introduce yourself, visit our virtual stand, speak to a member of our team, and come and discuss some of the vacancies that we have today. Thank you.
Thanks for that, Craig. And last but certainly not least, we have Charles Bonam from Bonam and Turner. So Charles, please can you introduce yourself?
Yeah, hello. I'm Charles Bonam. The company's Bonam and Turner. We're located in Sutton-in-Ashfield. We're a precision engineering company. Where we're a little bit different to a lot of engineering companies is that we have a range of products. So we also have a big catalogue of products, and I'll just show you a catalogue. So we have this catalogue, and obviously everything's also available online. The main products that we manufacture, it's really work holding, jigs and fixtures. The main products really are dowel pins, jig pushers, and we supply our product. It's generally into aerospace, Formula One, the composites industry, people like yellow goods people like JCB, Caterpillar, they buy a lot of our products. But typically, I mean, we have a very large customer base. We also have a subsidiary in the United States, in America, and New Jersey, and we sell a lot of our products across the US. It's a different catalogue. I mean, the products are similar, but it's all made to the American standard. And that's pretty much is the products that we're supplying. We're founded 100 years ago, so we're a 100-year-old company. It was my great-grandfather who founded it. So we've got a long history. Actually, during the war effort, we made parts for the Lancaster bomber and the Spitfire. So we've got a deep history. In the early days, we reconditioned engines for motor racing. But today, really, the focus is, like I say, the motorsports, aerospace, composites industry, and that's where we supply most of our products. The current time vacancies, we're expecting that we will be recruiting a number of people in the over the next 6 months or so, because we are seeing the green shoots now. The economy is improving, and we're beginning to see a return to how we were pre-COVID. So even though we haven't actually even though we're not advertising any specific places at this point in time, we do expect that we will be recruiting in the coming months.
Yeah, definitely. And it's still a great opportunity, guys. you go to Bonam stand and network with
Yeah.
on there. So thank you for that, Charles, and thank you to the rest of the panelists for introducing yourselves just now. We're now going to ask a few questions to our panelists here today. Due to a couple of technical issues at the beginning with the video not playing, we will be running 5 minutes over today, but please stick around as it's your chance to network with these panelists and learn a bit more about them, chance to learn a bit more about you. But for this section, for our questions, which will take us up to 3:05, make sure to take notes, as like I said, this is a rare opportunity for you to hear from multiple key figures within manufacturing organisations. Okay, so the first question I'd like to put to one of our panelists today is to James. And James, what skills do you believe the industry is looking for, particularly in the sector you work within the aerospace sector?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that has changed over time. So one aspect I think has become really important now actually is supply chain management, more so than it was as I started my career. I think, you know, the days of purchasing being a traditional buying in raw materials to feed into your factory and produce components now has become, you know, if I look at Gardner, it's a very, very complex international supply chain that you've got to manage, and the skill set is entirely different to what it used to be when it was a purchasing function 25 years ago. So I think supply chain management and managing end-to-end supply chains has become quite important for certainly aerospace. I think you still have the traditional skills, certainly from an engineering point of view. I think still problem solving is really important, always will be with engineering, whether you're a design engineer introducing a new product or a manufacturing engineer introducing a new process. We don't live in a world of perfect, things go wrong, and the ability to think on your feet and problem solve, I think, is a really important skill. And the other one that I think's quite interesting, that I think has definitely come about more in the last sort of 10 years, I would say, is project management. You know, again, if I'm trawling through CVs and looking for engineers, manufacturing engineers or quality engineers, somebody who's got a Prince 2 qualification or is able to explain how end-to-end they've managed a complex project and has the discipline processes behind that to manage projects, I think is really important. If I look at the Gardner, you know, we have good project engineers who aren't, project managers who are not engineers, and good engineers who aren't project managers. And I think if you can find someone who's got both, that's the golden ticket.
Yeah, definitely. And that's some great advice there from James. Thank you. So my next question is to Phil. How can people break into the industry to develop a career in manufacturing?
Yeah, great question, Yasmin. I think, well, first thing to say is manufacturing and engineering are both really, really important to the UK economy, particularly after COVID and after Brexit. It's an absolute key part of the economy, and it's certainly an area that people should be interested in because there's nothing better than making stuff, and being part of businesses that make stuff is just a fantastic place to be. How to break into it? I mean, the thing is that it embraces a lot of different skill sets. I mean, you heard from James there about some of the more formal skill sets in the bigger businesses, but where you're looking at smaller businesses like ours, the best way to break in is simply to, firstly, if you've got an interest in it, is to reach out to companies that are in it and people who are in it, because we're looking for talent. I mean, all of us in our own ways are looking for talent. We're recruiting for 2 or 3 different roles at the moment. Sales is a particular one. So I think it's, if you're interested in it, whether you're the engineer or whether you're the person who is interested in marketing it, selling it, sorting out the processes for it, then just put yourself out there and find out, because there will be a good opportunity for you if you're willing to take the initiative and just put yourself out there.
Yeah, most definitely. And I totally agree with you there, Phil. I think in our Back in Britain event, one of our presenters, they said that everything is made, so everything is manufactured. And if you just think about that, and in fact, if you want to break the industry,
this is the only industry that actually creates value. I mean, the service industries, everyone goes on about services, but all they do is make money out of kind of nothing, and they don't make any, they don't produce any value, they just steal value from other people. So manufacturing and engineering is where it's at if you want to be part of rebuilding the economy.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think, you know, we've pointed this out in a couple of our events now, is that there's not just the opportunity to manufacture, to be an engineer, there's opportunities in marketing, IT, finance, and the list goes on. So it's a great industry to get into. So thank you for that, Phil. So my next question is to you, Marie. Why do you believe manufacturing makes for a good career? Just thinking about the things that we've just discussed just then.
Well, not every day is the same. So in engineering particularly, the problem solving, so exactly what sort of James and Phil said, you know, you really have to think on your feet sometimes, and you do have to adapt quite quickly, so to change. So sort of that's sort of what I believe really in sort of a career in engineering and manufacturing. And there's so many different opportunities, and the roles are varied. So I started out in law, so I would never have thought that I would be transferring my skills into an engineering business, but they blend really well. And so having attention to detail and being quite meticulous in the planning, so that's very, very important. So yeah, that's sort of how I see careers in manufacturing.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, great. Thank you, Marie. And for you, Charles, you know, just thinking about, you know, the actual skills that James was talking on a little bit about earlier. So, you know, the courses that people could take, the skills that essentially are needed within the aerospace sector specifically. But for you, what qualities does your business look for in candidates? You know, when someone passes you their CV and they have that interview, what are you looking for in them when they come to it?
Well, there's a number of things, and actually, I suppose of engineering, there's a number of levels that somebody can enter a company anyway. I mean, obviously, if someone can get themselves qualified, that's marvelous. If you know, the more qualifications which are relevant to engineering that you can bring into a place. I mean, obviously, you've also got to bear in mind it's not all about machining and engineering in an engineering company. I mean, there's a need for sales skills, there's a need for marketing skills, there's a need for, you know, vast range of skills in a company. So that's always one thing, the first thing, qualifications. But of course, one thing that's brilliant is experience. If someone can demonstrate that they've got vast experience in an area, that's, again, marvellous for the company. And that's, if you can demonstrate that you've got a skill set that we're looking for, you can demonstrate that in a number of ways, you know, the qualifications, experience. If someone can show a good understanding of what's needed, you know, that bit of knowledge, that's very valuable to us as well. So but I think, you know, one of the things is to come into manufacturing, just showing that real interest in manufacturing and to show that passion for it, you know, that's going to put someone in a good position, I think, if you're looking for engineering. So yeah,
most definitely. Thank you for that, Charles. And Craig, you know, just thinking about the process before you accept those CVs, and then you're looking at the candidates and the skills and the attributes that they potentially hold for your business. What do you think is the best way for a job seeker to approach an employer if they are interested in a role?
So, I mean, it's an interesting question. I think the first thing for any any candidate is to invest in their own success, is to do a lot to kind of research tips on how to make themselves more impressionable, creating a longer impression, improving communication skills, enhancing kind of interpersonal skills, and so on. And I think once a candidate really invests in themselves and creates a knowledge base of how to remain really in the knowledge set of any recruiting business, once you've done that, you've then got to try and really approach it and be different from anybody else. And a lot of that really is about alignment from the candidate and the business that's recruiting at the time. So I would always say to a candidate, go and find don't search for a role on Indeed or on LinkedIn or anything like that. I would go and find the company. I would find the company that better aligns to what feels right to you on your values, on you know, the employee that you really want to build a career with. And I would find that company first, and then I would be almost looking for the role that you want to do in life. What career do you want? What you know, what does that look like? Then I would be almost selling yourself at that point and knocking on the door. You know, once you prepare, knock on the door of that business, sell the best product that you have, which is yourself. And don't just necessarily sell your current self, but sell your future self too. So I think whenever I'm looking for candidates, I'm looking for somebody that fits the culture of the business, not necessarily a whole swag bag full of skills and experience, but more the personality traits. And that's something that really resonates with me when an individual walks through the door, is not the skill sets, but more the behavioural traits, which are more ingrained. So I hope that's answered your question.
Yeah, most definitely. That's some great advice, Craig. Thank you for that. And I think, again, this is something that we've repeated through in a few of these sessions now, is that employers are looking for enthusiastic people who seem like they're willing to learn. So if, you know, the job seekers here today, if you're able to put that across to employers, I'm sure you'll get the opportunity that you're looking for. So thanks again for that, Craig. So we have time for a couple more questions, and the next question really ties in with what Craig was saying just there, and it's for James. You know, how can an applicant stand out from the hundreds of CVs that you receive at Gardner Aerospace, James?
That's a really good question. I think I put myself in that position when receiving CVs. What always impresses me is if somebody's tailored a CV. So I'm picking on specifically on the CV now, but actually a well-designed, well thought out CV that feels like you're applying for a job for me with my business, not you're applying for a job, if that makes sense. So a CV that isn't designed for 100 applications, it's designed for an application with Gardner Aerospace. I think that makes you stand out, and usually you can see if somebody's gone to the effort of making an application that's tailored to this particular role. So I think that's one thing. I think the other thing I would always, you know, in terms of tips as well, is make sure that your LinkedIn profile's polished. The phrase I would use is that 90% of the impact is in the last 10% of effort, and quite often you can put a profile or you can do some work that's 90% there, but actually the impact's in the last 10%. So make sure it's polished, make sure it's current, because depending on the level that you're hiring at, of course, a more senior role, I'll take a CV, but the first thing I'll do is look up that person on social media, and if their platform is scruffy, out of date, I won't bother interviewing them. And you know, I do sometimes make decisions on that basis, to be honest. So I think that's important as well.
Yeah, definitely. And again, that's a great response, James, because I think, you know, sometimes people don't really think about, you know, potential employers checking social media and things like that. So the way you come across on the internet for everyone to see is also what your potential employers are seeing. So bearing that in mind when you're coming to apply for things is really, really important. So thank you for that, James. So I just have one more question, and I'd like to put this to Phil, if that's okay. So Phil, you know, what top tips could you offer in regards to employability skills to our job seekers here today?
I think there are a very wide range of skills that are relevant and interesting to engineering and manufacturing businesses. And actually, from the five of us here, you've got a sense of the range of, I mean, there's obviously a lot more types of engineering and manufacturing businesses out there, but even just with the five of us, we've all got incredibly different businesses. And although there's some overlaps in the types of people that we would want to have in our businesses, there's a lot of differences as well. So it's a very, very broad church, engineering and manufacturing. And I think it's more about, is this a world that interests you? And if it is, then somewhere in it, there will be a place for you. Absolutely, there will be. And if you want to find that place, then actually some of what James and Craig have been talking about is very relevant, which is actually let us know that you're interested, and let us know that you're interested in us, and that you actually know a bit about us, and why is it that you're interested in us? You know, because there's no point coming to me and saying, I'd love to join your business because I'm really interested in aerospace, because we don't do it. So take a bit of time and trouble to find businesses that seem to fit with you, which I think was what Craig was talking about. And then just go for it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that's a really important thing that the few of our panelists have pointed out today, is it's more about, you know, finding the business that suits you rather than just throwing your CV out there and hoping something sticks. I think that's a really, really good point. So thank you to our panelists for answering those questions today. And I hope all of the job seekers and our manufacturing members today found some value in the responses that we've had. So thank you so much. Now is your chance to network with our panelists today on an individual basis. So our panelists will head a breakout room. They will then reintroduce themselves and then ask you guys who you are and why you would like to work within the manufacturing sector. So my colleague Annetta on the call today will organise the breakout rooms for you, and I will see you all back here in half an hour.
Good afternoon, everybody. So just so you know, in a moment, I will press the button, and in the middle of your screen, you will see join the room. So we will all join the rooms, and every 6 minutes, I will be swapping the speaker into different rooms. So you all will have a chance to introduce yourselves to speakers from today's event. So as you follow the instructions on your screen now, I will send you all to different rooms. And I will see you all in at 15:30.
Cool. So Annette, I'd make them 7 minutes. Just welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
I think everybody are back, Yasmin, now.
Great. Okay, thanks, Annetta. So welcome back, everybody, back to the room for Meet Britain's Makers for the East Midlands. Thank you very much for joining us today, and I really hope you found some value from those networking sessions and had the opportunity to speak directly with our manufacturers here today. As we've already mentioned earlier on, you can visit Gardner Aerospace, Egl Vaughan, Bonam and Turner, Cast Iron Welding Services, and QTS's stand at the Made Futures virtual exhibition. So head over there now and continue that networking and building rapport with the industry leaders here today on the panel. And I'd just like to say another special thanks to all of our panelists, to Phil, to Charles, to Craig, to Marie, and to James. Thank you so much for joining us and supporting the job seekers here today. And also to the manufacturing members who are part of the Maiden Group, who have also joined to support us for this event. So thank you so much again for joining us. Just another thing I'd like to mention before I leave you all today is that there still is the Golden Banner competition going on. So you can win a free bottle of wine, a non-alcoholic version if you'd prefer that, or a Moleskine Smart Book. So all you need to do is take a look around the stands at the exhibition, find that Golden Banner, post it on your social media using the hashtags #MadeFutures or #1KJobsChallenge, and you could be the winner of a Moleskine Smart Book or a bottle of wine. So I'd like to leave it there. Thank you again for joining us, and thank you again to the panelists, and I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow, hopefully at the Digital Competencies Masterclass at 11:15 and the Black Country and Shropshire Meet Britain's Makers event at 2:30. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.